What's up, guys? How y'all doing? Wow. Fort Worth, round 2 of Super Duper provided an outcome that I don't think anybody would have predicted. But first of all, before I get to that, guys, just remember, subscribe. Helps the algorithm, helps me out. I want to keep my monetization status. Hopes to get some more views. I know I don't have as much insight as Cooksey does, but you know what? I don't care. Am I trying to be better than him? Hell no. He'd beat me any day. But if you think I'm worth listening to, just remember, subscribe. Or if you just want to see some more of my games, just hit the subscribe button. But in the meantime, let's get into this. I'm going to put up my banner here. I'm going to do one video this time. I'm going to start with the 450 class first. Hunter Lawrence finally wins. Now, I got to tell you, for Hunter Lawrence to get this win, I couldn't be more prouder of the man. You know why? Because that guy had been hunting on the, no pun intended, that guy had been hunting for a win for so long. And to see him win only one moto in the Pro Motocross Championship, but not an overall, that has been eating him alive until now. And I got to tell you, for the first moto, Hunter Lawrence, to withstand all that pressure from guys like Eli Tomac and Jet Lawrence, especially after Jet Lawrence made that mistake. And it looked like from that point on, Jet Lawrence wasn't really himself. But anyway, as far as Hunter Lawrence is concerned, the way that he held off that serious heat from Eli Tomac, I think a lot of us thought, myself included, that Hunter Lawrence was just a sitting duck again, okay? But you know what? That had me thinking back to the 2019 Monster Cup when Adam Cincerillo held off some major heat from Eli Tomac to win the third race in the Cup class. So that tells me that Hunter Lawrence was not going to walk away the loser once again. And I'll tell you this, in the second moto, Hunter Lawrence got the bad start. Chase Sexton ran away with it. But Hunter was very lucky that all he had to do was get up to third. Am I saying that he would not have won that overall? No, but still, he was very fortunate that all he needed was third place. With the way that track was, the only thing I really did not like about it was the start. And had Hunter Lawrence gone down in the second moto in the first turn like Ken Roczen did, there was no way he was going to come back to save the overall. And that would have meant he pissed away another chance at his first career win. But fortunately, Hunter kept it upright. Jet Lawrence got the bad start. Eli Tomac got the bad start. Chase Sexton was the one who got the good start, and he managed to come away with the win. But as far as how he's doing right now, I actually think that Chase is doing okay, and I do think that he is finding out how to compensate with that KTM in the stadiums. Because he didn't really look like the Chase Sexton of old when he was on Honda. Because the way that Chase looked, it looked like, to me anyway, that maybe there was that something about that number one being on with that target on your back per se. Okay? That is my theory on why Chase Sexton was not riding like the Chase Sexton of old that we saw in Supercross. And even when he had the number 4 on his plate in the Pro Motocross Championship, Sexton was riding like the guy that we thought we would see going back to Anaheim 1. But although that Sexton doesn't have that number 1 for Super Duper and Jet Lawrence does, you would think that Chase Sexton would have that little carrot dangling in front of him to want to get that number 1. And believe it or not, he has a chance at that because we have triple points at the final round in Vegas. And I have to say that when I saw Cooksey's video about, when to schedule Super Duper, I was on board with that. You have to let these guys' bodies recover because for because back in the day when it was 16 Supercross and 12 outdoors, you didn't have a break in between. The only time you had off was probably before Daytona and then maybe Easter off. But now that doesn't happen anymore. Now there's only 2 breaks in Supercross and maybe 3 or 4 during motocross. But this year was 3 off weekends. Well, actually 4 if you count the one after Washougal with 2 weeks off. But still, you got to give these guys a break and give them a chance to celebrate pro motocross, because Chase Sexton, I'm sure he wanted to celebrate pro motocross, his title, for a while. And so I was actually on board with Cooksy's suggestion of going back to 15 races and maybe having 10 outdoors. But I would definitely like to see some more breaks in between, like maybe 1 week off or 2 weeks off after like 2 races. Like you do 2 rounds, then 2 weeks off, and then maybe 3 races, and then 2 weeks off again. Okay? Because that way then these guys will have more chances to recover. And maybe schedule pro motocross in the fall. Or not pro motocross, but super duper in the fall. Maybe like after the Donations. Because when the Monster Energy Cup took place, it was around October, around more or less mid-October. That is when when Super Duper should be scheduled, instead of just 1 week after pro motocross, because that isn't a lot of time to recover, especially if you're the champ, especially with racing 28 weeks out of like 28 of the like 36 weeks overall. Okay. So I don't know what you guys think, but but anyway, but let me know down in the comments below. Anyway, as far as back to Fort Worth is concerned, Hunter Lawrence was very lucky that all he needed was 3rd, like I said earlier, because knowing Hunter, if this were the old Hunter Lawrence, he probably would have crashed going for 3rd. And he almost did on the final lap when he went off the track in the same spot that Ty Masterpool dumped it in the 250 class. And that would have been a heck of a way to piss away a sure overall win if you're in the Hunter Lawrence camp. And had he done that, I would imagine that Hunter would probably have lost a lot of sleep over that. Not going to lie to you. But fortunately, he kept it upright, which was very vital to him winning the race or winning the overall. So now we got a showdown in Vegas. Now, my pick still stands at Chase Sexton because I think he's going to figure something out for Vegas. We'll see what happens. But Eli Tomac winning this title, something tells me he's going to have a lot of luck again. Okay, now on to the 250s. Haiden Deegan sweeps again. Perfect SMX season. I would not rule this out. You know why? Because Haiden Deegan gets good starts, and when he takes the lead, it is bye-bye, everybody. You might as well sign the papers and declare him the winner. Because Haiden Deegan is a guy who does not choke on starts. He does not show any weaknesses. And I think after seeing him crash so much in pro motocross and giving away eventual 1-1 sweeps, I think all of those kind of woke him up in a sense, because now he doesn't make those kinds of mistakes like we saw this past summer. So as far as Haiden is concerned, I think we're going to see a perfect super motocross season. Not going to lie to you. When you see the way that he rides, because he does not show a lot of weaknesses. But now, as far as other guys are concerned, Nate Thrasher hit the deck. Ty Masterpool hit the deck twice, if you count the first motos. And I thought that Ty was going to do a lot better than what he did. But, of course, those crashes kind of robbed him of that chance. But as far as RJ Hampshire is concerned, oh my God. I don't know if the AMA is just too incompetent, or they're just going to wait until somebody eats it bad to a point where he dies on the track. Because after they die, then they're going to make changes. That's probably what it's looking like right now. So really, if there's anybody on the AMA who has the decent common sense to make the changes before somebody loses their life, like what we saw from RJ Hampshire, I'm sorry, but if you wait until somebody dies, that's too late. Common sense is getting on it right away, okay? Not wait until somebody dies before you finally make the change. So that's the way that I see it. So really, am I to say that anybody's to blame on the AMA? Absolutely not. But still, you got to take action. Not going to lie. Because if you wait until somebody dies and then you finally do take action, I can only imagine how many lawsuits you're going to face the next time around. Okay? Now, as far as RJ is concerned, he seems to be okay. Is he going to line up for Vegas? I'd like to think he will. His title hopes are pretty much down the toilet already. But if he can end the 250 year on a high and to end 2024 on a high before he jumps up to the 450 for 2025 or perhaps 26, I think that'll be enough to call that a moral victory. So we'll see what happens. But I have to say that if there was one guy that I was very proud of, aside from Hunter Lawrence in the 450 class, Tom Vialle. That was a track that someone like Tom Vialle would excel on, especially being from France. And if you're in the Texas area, that I like to think that tracks in France are those with good throttle control, clutch control, because anytime you race at Dallas, whether you're in Houston or San Antonio back in the day, that tracks like that are all about throttle control. And Tom Vialle seems to be the kind of guy with that kind of throttle control technicality stuff, or that throttle control technical stuff. So I have to say, good on Tom Vialle to come through with a good performance. And if he can end in Vegas, that's another throttle control track. I wouldn't rule out Tom Vialle possibly winning the 250s there, because he seems to be the only guy to impede Haiden Deegan's progress unless Deegan goes down early and doesn't have a good performance overall. So anyway, guys, that's all for today. And remember, subscribe. We'll see you all for the final round from the Strip in Las Vegas.